to answer your question about the sort of the choice to stay in and how that relates to salaries, etc. It's worth walking people through sort of what the salary trajectory is if you become a scientist. So
Okay.
typically after you finish your undergrad, you go into a PhD program. Now, unlike grad school and like MBA or something like that, or law school, you don't pay them, they actually pay you to do a PhD. But it's only about $35,000 a year. But still, you don't have any debt. So you're paid pretty badly for 5 years, but you're not building up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt like if you went to law school, say. And then typically, when you become a postdoc, you typically do that for like a year or two after you get your PhD, and that's typically about $65,000 a year. So it's not great money. But then, as you go on from there, you become either like an assistant professor or the equivalent of, say, like a staff scientist title at either a national lab or like a NASA center or like the Berkeley Space Science Lab where I am. Those salaries typically start around 90,000 and they go up to, after say 10 years, more like 120, 130,000. And that doesn't sound like a lot of money in the Bay Area, but actually those salaries are typically the same all across the US. So if you don't live in a
Mm-hmm.
really expensive area like San Francisco or New York, it's actually a pretty good salary. It's a very solid middle class salary. So I don't want people thinking that scientists are paid poorly everywhere. Just in relation to Bay Area housing costs, scientists maybe are not paid that well.